Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the Locked In with Drew and Russ podcast.
Yes.
We got a lot to talk about. Free agency's heating up.
A lot of offseason.
And it's, NFL offseason. This is going to be a lot, basically, what we're talking about. All NFL today.
Yeah.
Because there's some big stuff coming up. March 13th, the league new year, and then we're just going to get into the free agency. Like, it's going to get very crazy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that need some money and need some places to go.
And a lot of big things that happen that now new players are on the market.
Yep.
So, I guess, starting things off, we're going to do something that, I don't know, for me, it kind of caught me off guard. Emmanuel Moseley was re-signed. I have not seen the figure. It was a one-year deal. If I can imagine things, him coming off 2 ACL injuries, even though he is a very good player.
2.5 to $3 million.
Yeah, like
1 year.
Very low, and there's probably an out or something like that, where if he doesn't make the training camp, there's not much dead cap.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't think he's going to be healthy for training camp, so I think that's a very interesting situation. Because when we saw him in the 49ers, before he tore his ACL with the 49ers, he was a very good cornerback.
He was pretty dang good, yes.
And now we're got less than 10 snaps of the Lions.
Yeah.
And then he tore his ACL. That really sucked, too. I felt horrible for him because...
It's our own little Aaron Rodgers story.
There you go. Except one's not 40, but yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he battling back from ACL injury. I've never had that. I can only imagine. It's got to be some serious, just work to get through. And then he gets back on the field, and then within 10 snaps, he's already down again.
I don't think they really actually fix that kind of stuff. I think it's just kind of they put it back to where it was and stick it there. You got to work through obviously they increase your strength on it by working with it, but I don't think it's tough to get back from those things.
Right.
And just become the same that you were before that even happened.
And the Lions, I feel like they took their time. They didn't rush him back. He was very slowly brought back, probably like they always do with a lot of these players that are hurt, especially like what happened with J-Mo also his rookie year. They're very slow. They don't want players to get re-injured like what happened with Moseley.
Yes,
unfortunately, it happened again. But I think when he's on the field, he's a good cornerback. So I'm really hoping that also
hopefully when he's on the field again.
Yeah, right. He's the same guy.
Again.
And also, I think this is doing right by his player because I'm not gonna lie, Mosley's not an attractive free agent because of the 2 ACL injuries. Right. There's a possibility that there might not have been a team that picked him up, and then his career could be seriously in jeopardy.
Just done right there.
And it's not even.
And it's still up for question. I mean, you got to be able to play after both of those. I mean, it's got to be insane for him to go through that and still getting a chance, and then hopefully he's gonna want to play because he wants to show that he can get more contracts and stay on teams, but.
Right.
We'll see how he looks,
Well, same thing happened with Tracy Walker. And Tracy Walker is a guy that was around when he was we were really building this new culture up. And unfortunately, he tore his ACL at MetLife the year before this year. And then we're looking at him coming back this year. And we're like, okay, they're going to be slow with him. And then we're going to see him on the field again. Hopefully he's still the same guy. And he struggled this year. He was able to have big hits, but besides that, his coverage, his athleticism was just not the same, and that's what led to him getting cut.
That's a big thing with DBs too, is your hip movement and the way that you're moving your legs on any coverage or anything like that. I mean, not having those working parts going the right way, it's just it's tough to be doing the same things that you can. It is.
And like I said, hopefully Tracy and Moseley both can rekindle some stuff and get back to prior form. Whether, of course, Tracy won't be on our team, but a guy that was a drafted Lion and a long-time Lion, hoping him the best, and hopefully we see Moseley next year having a good year.
Hopefully we do.
But I guess not going to stick too much on that because there's a lot of mystery still with that, the amount of money, and he just got hurt, so we don't know even the time, return table. We'll get closer to the season. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, looking at the Lions that are going to be hitting free agency, and because the franchise tags and all these things have kind of gone by, so with those deadlines gone, we're going to look at the guys hitting free agency, and we're going to talk about the guys that we want to have return and the guys that we want to let go and just move off of, find someone new to take that spot.
Find some talented spots to fill in.
So I guess if you want to start with the offense, some of the guys.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people like, I know Josh Reynolds, Jonah Jackson, who has been his own little injury story there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Graham, DPJ, Vaitai.
Yeah.
Like these are all guys that need contracts. So and Craig Reynolds.
Yeah.
The halfback.
And I think if we're starting off at Jonah Jackson, this is another one where it's injuries, and it's very difficult because Jonah on the field he's a good guard. He's a starting level guard, and at least with his offensive line, he was our left guard.
Very good to have in there.
Yeah, he was a part of a top unit. So I mean, but with that being said, personally, I think I'm looking to move off of Jonah as the injuries. And I don't want to be that guy, but the best ability is availability, and this offensive line cannot have injuries or at least we got to try to minimize these injuries. And Jonah just seems like a guy that can't get past that right now.
And like you said, like our line is what drives this offense. Like if we have our guys in there, man, dude, it's tough to slow us down at all.
Right, and just an extension. If there is an extension for Jonah, it's got to be something that's quite team friendly.
It's got to be team friendly, or else they could get into a little bit of trouble.
Right. I can't see them extending him for 12, 13, even 15 per year for multiple years. I can't see that happening. It's probably going to be something that he's just not going to want that offer from us, and he's going to look elsewhere.
Yeah, he probably will.
So,
and you know what? He probably will get picked up, but. Well, there's a lot of guys that are free agents that we could look to use and try to get in that position.
The draft, cheaper. There's a lot of other ways that we can upgrade that position.
Yeah.
And Jonah was drafted here. Loved him. I think he was here. And if he does return, of course, we're going to support him. But if I was a decision maker, I think I would be moving on.
Just because of it, he's just been riddled with injuries that have kept him off the field for a little bit too long.
Yeah, and just missing him in the playoff run, and just injuries struck at bad times. He's been, and his play is good, but just I want security at that guard spot. I want this O-line to feel stronger. I know we have guys like Colby Sorsdale, and we have guys that we're likely gonna draft an offensive lineman this draft. I could just only guess. Right.
Another probably interior offensive lineman.
Right. So with that being said, depth, of course, we still have it there, but you want your starter to be healthy. You don't want to have to start gadgeting and moving players around so that you can fill in a Colby Sorsdale or a Dan Skipper or whatever it is, or a Matt Nelson. Someone like just plugging and playing is not as good as having your core five. But I guess moving down the line, Josh Reynolds. I want to hear your opinion first on this one. I know you have you have an opinion on that. I will say right here, I saw his market value was $7 million per year. $7 per year. Yeah. So. What's your opinion on that? Do you want him back? Do you want to upgrade?
$7 per year is not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think it's terrible. If it's a 1 or 2 year contract for $7 million, hell yeah, for sure. Because he's coming off a career season,
right?
But we are getting the spot of paying St. Brown,
right?
So it's another wide receiver that we're paying possibly a lot of money to,
right?
So I don't know what Donovan Peoples-Jones wants. But he's basically, the way that I see him, kind of like the same build as a Josh Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe has a slightly higher ceiling than Josh Reynolds.
Right.
He hasn't gotten a lot of time to show a lot, though.
Right.
So, if it's a good DPJ deal for, 3 years on some, $5 million money, I wouldn't mind doing that. But if that's not going through and you really want to lock up and keep the receiving core strong, definitely I'd get Josh Reynolds back for a couple of years even on $7 million.
Could you see a time, are you thinking that they're going to make a decision between the two, or do you think that would you see them taking both Donovan Peoples-Jones and Josh?
I mean, they could do both, but like I said, if they're locking up St. Brown for however long on $25 million,
right,
you're probably not going to give these guys huge long contracts either.
Right.
You're probably going to grab them for a couple more years at least. If you want to grab both for a couple more years, why not?
Right.
They're both huge. I mean, they're huge receivers to back up St. Brown and his skill set, to back up Jamon Hill's his skill set for sure. But I know we've met with a couple of receivers in the draft too. There's there's a lot of good receivers in this draft too.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying like, yeah, they could, and it's guaranteed that Josh Reynolds will probably give you about the same production.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely guys that you could go pick up and have for a couple years as a rookie and on some good money, and that could maybe have a higher ceiling than Josh Reynolds. Maybe be about the same. I don't know. You don't know with rookies until they're playing in the NFL and you're seeing them. Quentin Johnson we thought was crazy. Zay Flowers was better.
yeah.
Zay Flowers was better. Now, Zay Flowers didn't have Lamar, and Chargers went to a little section there of not doing very well.
Yeah, it's some turmoil.
yeah, and they do have Keenan and Mike that's ahead of them, but you would think they would use
Mike,
a big.
Mike got injured.
Mike did get injured too, so yeah.
I thought he was gonna really step in and have like a little bit more of an impact, and he really didn't.
He really didn't. He just
Palmer
never
he
just never came into that. Zay Flowers, Puka Nacua off the beginning of the year were amazing and incredible. You know, whether it's fantasy, whether it's just raw production, because Puka Nacua got Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Right.
So, you know, these guys can come from anywhere. You go and take an Adonai Mitchell guy in the 5th round, and it turned out to be a Puka-like player. You know what I mean? There's a lot of depth this year in this draft class at receivers. So I could see us going both ways.
Right. I like that take on it. I think that I would probably bring back Josh. I probably would also bring back. Of course, we got to make the contracts work.
It's just whatever is going to work out.
And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones probably will have a cheaper tag than Josh Reynolds. Hopefully, you can bring.
He
them
just
both
hasn't
back.
had that actual production
yet. That other teams might look at and see.
Right.
And also, being someone that we traded for this year, I can't see us letting DPJ walk for nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't really make that much sense.
No, especially trading for him in the middle of the year. A guy who's from Michigan, went to Michigan College. A guy that's 25 years old. A guy that has that physical.
It's like 6'4".
Yeah, he's a big dude. And with that being said, I hope they bring them both back because I like both of them. I think they're both good wide receivers. I think Josh and Goff's connection is something that you just you can see throughout the year. Third downs, things that I understand that we had a rough game against the 49ers with Josh, but besides that, most times this year he was pretty a guy third down, we throw that ball to him, and that's why they went to him in the 49ers game, is because he was a reliable source.
Yeah.
And
like I said too, both those guys fit with gelling with our other receivers and their skill sets that they have. They both bring something different to the table than what St. Brown brings or what JMO brings. You know, because we got the route runner and we got the speedster. Mm-hmm. We got the big bodies to throw to catch the ball. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like what we got going on.
Right. I guess moving down, Graham Glasgow, this one for me is a no-brainer. He had a great year at right guard. A guy that was from Michigan, a guy who was a former Lion, and now making his return last year was something that was more than we could have even asked for. Yeah. He stepped in, was a huge contributor, even with a year with Vaitai going down, Jonah going down. He was one of the better guards in the league just by statistics. He was doing very well. He is someone that I think, of course, he is getting older. He'll probably be 33 by the year start for next year.
Yeah.
Bring
him back.
Bring him back. I think it's probably going to be another 1-year deal. I'm totally fine with that. If you do a 2-year deal, I'm not mad at it either.
Because it's not even because there's so many guys. You could go out and draft a high-level first-round guy, and we can sign somebody in free agency. And he may be the backup still.
Yeah.
But that's just fine. Because he's, like you said, he's going to be 33, 34 years old, and he's playing great. Yeah. So just keep him on the team, man. That's like you said, you want security? That's a guy that can bring you security when you need it the most.
Right.
So.
And culture fit, I think everything about Graham just checks every box that I'm looking for. Yeah. I think it checks every box that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are looking for. I think it's no-brainer. No-brainer.
Yeah, I like him.
And, moving on to Vaitai. Looking at that, he's been injury-riddled, kind of similar to Jonah. This one has me torn.
Is his price tag as high as Jonah's, though?
No, I don't think so.
You know what I mean?
I really don't think so. For one, because of the age difference. Also, the injury past is maybe even a little bit more advertised by, at least to me, about Vaitai. And Vaitai definitely isn't a bad player. He's a good player, And maybe if you bring him back for cheap to be a depth piece, that he's not being forced to have the starting role, and he can step in with behind the Graham, behind whoever you replace Jonah with, or Jonah, whatever that is, then maybe I can get behind this. But the price tag got to be very team friendly before I commit.
That's the guy where it's the team's price or it's no price, for sure. So
and that one's it's tough. I mean, also with Graham, how successful Graham was this year. Before the year, I heard a lot of people thinking Vitae was going to start over Graham. That completely flip-flopped.
Yep.
Vitae got hurt, and Graham took over and showed his stuff. Produced, and now I don't see a reason why you don't bring back Graham, and that could cause Vitae to not be re-signed, or it just means that his role will be diminished, I guess, if he does get re-signed. And also that means it's probably the money he was maybe going to get will be lowered, too, because you're not going to be a starter now. It just we're not gonna pay you starter money to be our bench guard.
Yeah.
And
Craig Reynolds,
last guy offensively.
Yeah.
Craig Reynolds, he did get that touchdown against the 49ers.
He did.
That was very fun.
Give all the credit to Frank on that one though.
Yeah.
That was Frank putting his knee in the dirt and stopping Vita Vea.
Oh wait, no, not 49ers. Sorry, the Bucks. Yeah. I don't know why
it was the Bucks. Yeah.
Thank you. Good thing you said Vita Vea because I totally.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
I was thinking about it too. I was like, no. That was the Bucks game.
Right. But with that being said, he got that touchdown.
It's not even like because he's the backup, right? Because we have Gibbs and Monty.
Right.
So, he comes out in like as a fullback sometimes, or as a second back to help block, and man, does he lay some blocks.
That one regular season for I think that was the Bucks as well, where he blew that guy up and Sam Brown ran in that touchdown. He had no business scoring that touchdown, and then he blocks that guy and just sets it up. Amazing play.
He's the same thing we talked about with Graham. Culture fit, every box is checked.
Yeah.
He's not there to get his stats or try to outdo somebody that's got the position that's locked up.
Right.
You know, he's there to perform his role to the best of his ability, and he sure does that.
Right.
Bring back Craig Reynolds.
His
money's not going to be a lot. You can bring him back for 2 to 3 years, 4 years on some good money, and have a great guy that fits the system. And if we ever really need him, I don't think he's that bad of a runner. If you're in a desperate spot either, he can run the ball. He's fine.
He's not a crazy athletic guy, but he has good vision. We saw that
good strength.
Like before even getting Gibbs and Monty last year, the year with Swift and Jamal fighting with injuries, both of them going down, and him having to be the starting RB1.
Yep.
He had over 100 yards in that one of the games that year, and you saw he's not gonna blow by you with speed, but he has a great way of finding holes, and he's just what you need to be at an RB3, a guy that will play dirty blocks, go out and just lay a guy out, but a guy that you can trust to hang onto the ball and not fumble it, and that's a guy that also has some goal line potential. I mean, against Vita Vea, there's a guy that we plugged in there when David and Jameer weren't getting in, and we were able to punch that one in on the 4th down.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that play.
That was. I was also surprised when he was on the field. I'm like, this playoff game, we're pulling our RB3 out here, but he got it done. More credit to him, absolutely. And that was his first postseason touchdown, so that was awesome to see as well.
Yeah.
But I guess going on to the defensive side, this one is a very big talking point and something that I think about quite often. CJ Gardner-Johnson, CD Deuce, he is set to hit free agency, of course. They couldn't come to a deal, and now we're looking at a stacked safety room.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at him hitting free agency and possibly looking for... It's a weird scenario. We gave him a prove-it deal. He got hurt. He wasn't really able to prove it for the long-term contract, and now does he go to another team to do a prove-it deal? I can't see us giving him the contract.
Do you think he can get another prove-it deal here?
Do you think... I don't know if he wants that.
Because that's what we did with Moseley. And I know it's on what he thinks, too. But
right. The problem is, I think that room is so stacked. I think that you have Branch, Kirby, Iffy, and then you throw CJ in, and it's like, if I'm CJ and I'm looking at this roster, even though I might think I'm the best, the way that we're going to be rotating, I might not get as many snaps compared to a different team. And that could maybe show up on the box score a little bit better. I can maybe get some more stats, and then I can get my payday that I'm looking for. Now, of course, in the playoffs, you're going to look for C.J. Gardner-Johnson on the field because he's the vet, guy who's playing in the Super Bowl. But also, if a team wants to throw him out a bigger contract, I don't think the Lions are going to be throwing out a giant contract. I think it's going to be a shorter-term one, and it's probably going to be similar.
2 or 3, probably.
1 to 2 would probably be my guess. And probably a similar figure to what he got on the 1 year. So, I don't know.
I don't know if we, like you said, we're stacked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we really don't or can't do the money and it's not going to work out. I think we're fine.
Right.
I think I love Kirby Joseph. That's what I think.
Right.
I think Kirby Joseph is amazing.
Right.
And we're going to be just fine with whether he plays with Iffy over there or it's Branch that they move there to solid to put him there instead of just cornerback, or I think he's playing slot a little bit too.
Yeah, slot.
So I think we're going to be just fine. There's plenty of draft guys like we talked about. This should be a very good draft.
And the Seahawks, they cut Jamal Adams and former Detroit Lion Quandre Diggs. There's always that door that could be opened if like a plan B.
There's a lot of good free safeties.
Yes.
There's a lot of good safeties too. Like Xavier McKinney off the Giants.
Yeah.
Like, those are guys that are like, cool. That like, yes, there's CJ, and you got a big monster like Xavier McKinney. He's like a 6'3" safety. He's nasty.
Right.
Like there's a lot of guys in this free agency that you can just target and be like, oh, like I'm this will work just fine. Like cheaper than CJ, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll figure it out just fine.
Right. And I mean, I think that this room definitely is stacked. I mean, and I do think that it won't be a big deal to lose him, but also depth at that position, keeping a strength to strength is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
And having that versatility, because that DBs, safeties, that's a place where players can get hurt. There's a lot of pressure going on, a lot of like quick hit movements. I got a lot of things that could cause injuries, and then we're looking at, or even them having to go up and hit tight ends going high. They could get hurt that way too. So with that being said, depth is never a bad idea. If they bring back CJ, culture fit, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much money he's gonna get and how much they're gonna command.
Because we know that he thinks of himself as like the best, right? Because that's what he thinks. Is he thinks he's basically the best and in his prime in that position, and he said that too. So it's like he could be wanting what is like a what would the best safety be getting paid?
We're probably looking at
dang near 20. If he thinks
if you're number one, you're getting north of 15, and you're getting closer to 20. Probably. Yeah. If we're being, and I don't know. I don't think that I don't think he's gonna.
That's a lot when you have depth at that position.
But right.
And you want to bring back your good young guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot, and it's definitely something that I'm sure these Lions the GM and everything is thinking about. I'm sure they're just figuring out what can we do to be the best possible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I think that's what they're going for.
So. Right, and not spending too much on a place that is good, and limiting yourself from going out and getting something that's an actual issue.
Filling up possible holes of need.
Right.
For sure, because we haven't even gotten into like how many like people like are actually like in these positions for free agency.
Right.
Because a lot of people say, oh, our D-line needs help, our linebackers need help. There's a lot of those positions available in this free agency. So if you don't want to see CJ Gardner-Johnson and you're gonna run Kirby, Iffy, Branch, and go grab a guy at some point, or even sign a cheaper guy, like that's just a guy to fill in there if we need him to.
Right.
Like not like like a Tracy Walker guy that just wasn't playing, but he definitely could play, know. And then you go get one of these guys that are out there for Hutch's help, for interior D-line, whether we think we keep Aleem there and we match him up with somebody else, or whether we, go outside linebacker, like a Daniel Hunter, there's a Darius Smith, like there's a lot of There's a lot of good guys.
There's definitely big names that's hitting this free agency. We're definitely going to be covering all these guys for sure later on in this podcast because there's a lot of guys to talk about for sure.
So that's just why it's
not even just for the Lions, just for the NFL.
I mean, that's why it's like if CJ really wants like near 20, I think we just keep moving on and we just keep adding in positions.
Right. I think moving on, talking about a place of need, position that definitely was a struggle this year. Cornerback Kendall Vildor was our second cornerback.
Yep.
What do you think about him? Do you think that he was really just a plug and play guy? We're probably not going to bring him back, or do you think that there's potential to be a depth piece there? What do you think?
Now, let me know when you've seen how many times did you see Vildor play some lockdown coverage on some people?
Granted, I'll say that when a cornerback is not being shown, that's probably a good thing. But at the same time, there's definitely been some bigger plays that have been on Vildor.
And to their own credit, though, they're playing a position in which they never, not that they never intended to play it, but they just really can't play that role because of their skill level compared to the wide receivers, top wide receiver ones, top tight ends. Like, they're trying to guard these guys, and these guys are probably fourth string cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So I'm saying when have you seen him make a good play? But it's you can bring him back cheap because that's really what he's worth, and you can go and fill out the room and have him as your third, fourth guy.
Right.
And then you're probably he's probably just fine. You know what I mean?
Right. Not guarding the CeeDee Lambs, the Justin Jeffersons, and not getting put into bad mismatches where that's kind of your better guy, because if Cam's on one side of the field, the other side of the field he's on. And if they move Jeff or someone over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was tough watching him bumble that 49ers pick for the 50 yards.
Yeah.
And then basically just throwing to Ayuk with his face.
Yeah.
That was a rough play. Like I said, that's Brandon Ayuk. That's like a top receiver.
Mm-hmm. Like
a top receiver.
Right.
You can say what you want about Brandon Ayuk, but he's been getting better every year.
Mm-hmm.
He really has been. So
I don't know. He definitely was an improvement from what we had before. Jerry Jacobs is really struggling. Guy who won't be probably returning this year. A guy that I believe are not tendering, meaning that there's basically he's gonna be a free agent, and there's probably not much interest in him from us. With that being said, I think that he did step in and do all right. Of course, not his role.
Not his role. You can tell.
I wouldn't be mad at him doing something that could have been a CB4 depth piece like that. But
I don't think he's gonna garner a ton of value. He's just gonna probably be a $2 million cornerback guy or something like that. Right. You know? If you want to bring him back, that's fine. It doesn't really matter that much. I don't think what we do with him. If you want to keep him because you're going out to get your other guys and he's your fourth, there you go, and your third, there you go.
Right.
If you don't want to keep him, you want to revamp the room. You sign back Moseley, see what happens with him, and then try to get different guys. Cam Sutton. We just need a guy that can fill in above the Cam Sutton, a guy that can play the number one wide receivers, and then the Cam Sutton and Vildors can stay in coverage and hopefully do a good job on who they're covering.
Right. And then moving on, lastly, to two edge rushers. I think we're gonna lump these together because these aren't as big name guys. Charles Harris and Romeo Okoro. Guys who had bigger years last year compared to what happened this season.
Yeah.
They kind of didn't have as big of a role as maybe we hoped. But Charles Harris had a lot of inactives, even though he was, like I said, last year he was having a lot bigger role.
Yeah.
But now looking at this, what do you think? Do you think these guys are going to be coming back? Do you think...
I could see Aquara probably.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think Romeo is a better.
I don't
shot.
think Charles Harris is coming back. I really don't.
Right.
We have Kaminsky and other guys too that play above him.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have to come back.
Right.
You can take a late round guy and fill the same position that he was playing as a backup edge rusher or whatever, wherever you need him on the D line, really.
Right.
So I don't think he's coming back. Aquara, he's like maybe as well because edge rushers get money. Mm-hmm. So if he wants $7 million, I don't know if we'll see him.
Right.
You know, because he doesn't really do that much out
right.
there. And it's not like he doesn't play because he does play. He just doesn't. I don't know. In the preseason he looked good. Then he was getting some good stuff in the preseason.
Him and his brother both.
Yeah, both of them were getting good stuff. And then when I don't know,
it didn't show up.
They don't do much in the regular season. No, and that's Hutch needs a guy over there. Like it's great to have these guys to fill that position, have an actual person there to play the role. But I want to see somebody on the other side of Hutch.
Right.
And then you can start saying whatever you want about our D line.
Mm-hmm.
But I already think Hutch is a one-man force by himself.
Right.
And Aleem helping him getting better in the middle is only going to make us so much better. Like we need somebody else to push from that side, and we need to collapse on the quarterback every time.
And we need a guy that across from Hutch that can be a true 3-down guy because realistically, James Houston is probably going to be a gadget guy. Yep. I mean, if he does develop into a guy that can play all 3-4 downs like Hutch, then we're looking at something of wow.
That would be nice.
Maybe we don't have to look at this position. Maybe just depth pieces, or maybe it's just going to be you get another guy there, and now you're like, man, this feels really good to have this set up and these guys there. If an injury goes down, we know this guy can go 3-4 downs. We don't have to worry about this.
Yep.
But with that being said, I don't know. We're going to see a lot more from James Houston. He had a great rookie season. Year 2 getting hurt.
Rookie season, that's for sure.
And then year 2 getting hurt, not able to see a lot from him. And then, I don't know. He's a very explosive player. We're definitely going to see more of him.
Very explosive.
And I'm excited to see that, but definitely want more help with Hutch for sure.
I would love to see it. If we're putting Kendall Vildo on your top guy and you're struggling to score on us, I'm telling you, just give Hutch a little bit of help, man.
Right.
We're scary.
And he was so hot at the end of the season. I think that's gonna be, with some help, is gonna be a dangerous edge, just a dangerous guy.
Dangerous. And I totally agree with that. I think he's already so dangerous in the run game and the pass game, like stopping QBs and everything.
Right. Okay, now looking at the free agents that are coming up this year, we're going to look at like the top guys that are at each position and kind of, I mean, there's some positions that are, toward the Lions' needs. There's also positions that we might be just going to talk about because like quarterback. We're obviously not going to be looking for a quarterback in free agency. Even with Teddy retiring, Hendon Hooker is going to be the backup. I don't see us. Yeah. And Nate Starfield will probably be the third. There's no reason to get a quarterback. So, anyways, looking at quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins is a free agent, and I don't know. I've been seeing, of course, is this what I've been hearing rumors, like smoke screen season. So of course, there's not always like complete truths to this, but I've been seeing that he's from Atlanta. He's from Georgia.
Is he?
And that his wife's family lives down there. There's also those connections to the Falcons, along with them having a need for quarterback. So I could see him going there. That's been a big favored destination. Yeah. And I mean, there's other ones that have been brought up, like even like Denver. I think that's not gonna happen. I think they're gonna draft a quarterback. But with that being said, Kirk is getting older, but despite his last big payday, if I'm him, I'm cashing out.
Yeah, you're trying your best.
And I'm looking at Daniel Jones, and I'm saying, give me 45, because I'm better than that guy.
He definitely is. So I would take Kirk over Daniel Jones every day of the week.
And Kirk, before getting hurt this year,
possibly leaving us as a rival in the North.
Yeah, the division. Yeah,
he's been here for a while.
we might have two, with Fields maybe also being
Fields could be a move.
So this North could get shaken up pretty big for sure. This could be some crazy stuff. Two rookies or whatever the Vikings choose to do, of course. They could bring him back, but I genuinely don't think that Minnesota will be having Kirk Cousins as their quarterback next season.
Probably not.
And with Justin Jefferson's pending extension that is going to be breaking records. Because if I'm Justin Jefferson, of course, I'm also saying
now
they're doing that.
If you're Justin Jefferson, or you're looking at Daniel Jones, and you're like, well, I'm better than that guy, and now you're asking for 45 as well.
It's just the top wide receiver right now is getting $30 million. That's Tyreek Hill. Do you? I mean,
I think Jeff could get more than $30 million if that's what he wants. If he wants, I want more. I'm really the best.
I think he can get more than 30 for sure. I think 35, 37. That's probably what I think. But he could go up higher. Definitely.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But also, he's a guy who had 1,000 yards in like 10 games or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And a guy that is
all of
unguardable.
Every pace that, like, for every like stat and milestone for getting to yards at a certain age or certain games played, his pace has been ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
His pace is stupid. 130 yards a game, like guaranteed, like every game. It's ridiculous.
He's had plenty of explosions against our team as well. 200 yards, 2 tutty games, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
He'll give it to you. It's very sad because watching it and like some of the crazy plays, you gotta be like, you scratch your head and you're like, well, you know what, we tried, because I don't know if we're gonna stop that.
Yeah, you just gotta keep trying, I guess, and that's your best chance.
Because he's top 3. He's probably not 3. He's probably not 2 wide receivers in the league. If you want to put Tyreek over him because of his pure speed, I actually
a little bit of veterancy on Tyreek.
I mean, that's fine. Jefferson's probably 1 for me, and then you probably go Tyreek for me.
I'm about the same way.
But
I'm about the same. If you want everything all in one package, you grab Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff is that man.
Great route running. He's still very athletic. A guy who can go up and get a ball 50-50.
Stupid athletic.
He's literally a bunch of different wide receivers just kind of put together. You can put him in the slot. You can put him to the outside. You can put him across the middle.
You took like Jerry Rice and Calvin Johnson. You're like, let's see what Frankenstein we can create. And that's what you got is Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. He's amazing. And now we'll see who's going to throw him the football.
We'll see who's throwing him the football.
Another guy who may be on the move, but also likely I'm thinking not. I think you said as well off camera, not. Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
A guy who brought Tampa to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a you can say what you want about that guy, but that guy's a winner in my opinion.
He looks good all season for them. If you have Mike Evans, you have Chris Godwin, those are great receivers around him. He's gonna feed them. Even I think Trey Palmer is a little sneaky guy too that people don't talk about a lot. I think he's got burst. I think he's pretty good. I think he's a talented receiver, young receiver that they can build off of and have a 3-man headed monster over there.
Right.
On top of Rashad White and his receiving game as well. Because that's big for him too, is he catches a lot of balls.
And the swagger. Just like the confidence. When Baker has confidence,
watch out.
He's a whole nother level.
Yes.
Because he's gonna talk his stuff. He's gonna go at you. He doesn't care who, what. He's got that guy mentality. He does. He's got that I can be a QB1, I can be him type of mentality. Now his skills, his body build isn't exactly top tier. That doesn't matter.
If he can just keep refining, like throwing in the pocket, and making sure all of his passes are dead accurate. It's no different than someone like Stafford.
Yeah. Where
they're not mobile at all, but can they make every play in the book by passing? Yeah, probably they can.
And they got similar to a Stafford. He's got like that grit, that thing that I'm gonna go, and you know what? I'm not fast.
Yeah.
But if there's 3 yards right there and there's a linebacker coming, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna take that shot to get that first down. I'm going to lower my shoulder, and we're going to get this first down. And then what's going to happen is he's going to pop up. He's going to be going like that. He's not down hurt. He's yoked that he just took that guy on.
Yeah.
It's the competitive mindset, the grit, the guy, and a lot of things that he got when he was in Cleveland, the criticism, he was hurt.
He's went through a lot. So it's kind of cool to see that he's getting his own little break here and showing that he can actually perform. At the highest level.
I hope he stays because I think that's a place that's going to be best for him.
It's a good fit. Like I said, you got a lot of good receivers there that he can throw the ball to. So.
And now a guy that was looking at a career that had a lot of uncertainty. I mean, he was bouncing around Panthers, Rams. Like, it's like, what are we doing here? Like, he's bouncing. He's on the waiver wire. Yep. And then finally settling in after Tom Brady retiring, getting an opportunity to be a starter, and then running with it, getting a playoff win, taking this team to heights that, I mean, they
didn't think they'd be at this point, probably.
Right.
They probably thought that they needed a rebuild. Mm-hmm. But they went out and they got a guy that can throw the ball great and made the playoffs. So.
And I hope he gets a payday. He absolutely deserves it. Everything he's been through, the guy, I'm not going to lie. When you're playing against Baker, maybe you don't like Baker because Baker does talk his stuff and you're like, this guy. I mean, but I'm not going to lie. Baker's a guy that I can definitely get behind. A guy that I think that is just like, he's hard-nosed and a guy that I hope keeps going because he showed in Cleveland to get just sent off for Deshaun, and then like all the injuries.
Now what?
Yeah, like all the injuries he played through. And he didn't look great through those injuries, but he was out there and he probably would have been better than a backup quarterback. So with that being said, even at 50, 60%, he's still probably better than a backup quarterback. So with that being said, it's a scenario where now he's healthy, he's got the tools around him, and now he was able to rewrite the narrative of him.
I'll tell you what, I knew Baker was the guy in Madden a couple years back, but we don't have to get too far into that.
Jeez.
I knew he was like that.
Yeah.
I've liked Baker a little bit. In the game.
Yeah.
In the game.
He's got high throw power. And he had like star trade or something.
He had like some good accuracies, and I was like, just kind of can sling the ball.
Madden made him pretty good, and now he's probably gonna get a bump. I guess now thinking about, just because we were talking about the Browns being Baker's former team, Joe Flacco. Is Joe Flacco gonna be like? Is he the guy? You can't think that he's the guy with Deshaun getting paid that way, but also. I've seen there's interest from Joe Flacco to return. Do you really bring Joe Flacco back, the guy who helped you make to the playoffs, and now watch as Deshaun Watson comes back? And what if Deshaun starts struggling? The fans are gonna start calling for Joe, not the guy who's getting paid $230 million guaranteed.
But maybe the fans are right.
Yeah.
Maybe the fans are right because. He's not going to want a stupid amount of money, right? Joe Flacco. He's not going to get paid He's not going to get paid probably over 20. He will not get paid over 20. So, oh no, the star guy that's not playing well isn't doing well.
And maybe, honestly, there's some mentorship that can be done from Joe as well to him.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Because with that contract, you got to get Deshaun right. Because if you don't, you're in a hole that. Worse than the Russell Wilson hole that the Browns.
And I get like, so what? You signed Joe back. You played Joe, and this guy that has all of your cap just eaten up in one contract is not even playing and contributing at all.
Yeah.
Maybe he becomes a receiver. Make him a receiver.
I don't know about that.
What else are you gonna do with him? If they bring back Joe, what else you do with Deshaun?
You hope that Joe fixes Deshaun, and you hope that he kindles prior past, because at this point, like, the guy has not looked good, and not looking.
They were a playoff team.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time,
could you imagine if they had that money that he takes up?
Yeah.
They could be like, they could have a full-on dynasty going on right now. But they wasted it.
All those picks.
Wasted.
Like 4 picks and
worst move you've ever made, Browns. Because you could be riding on top.
You could have just kept Baker.
You could be keeping Baker.
Had the cap space.
You could be keeping Joe Flacco for cheap, and be just signing every free agent that you wanted because you have so much cap room.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Deshaun, you could. That team could have been a dynasty without Deshaun's contract.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll ask him to do. Maybe they'll ask like they did with Russ. Hey, make this not. Can you restructure this to make this not guaranteed? Will he do that? Probably not.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
Because he's not gonna get that money anywhere else. So I'm taking that money.
Does everybody else want him to do that? Yes.
Yeah. But if I'm trying, hey, things didn't change. You wanted to pay me that 2 years ago. You're gonna pay me that until the contract's done.
Yeah, but then okay, you saying that with what situation that he's in, you are the most disliked person of all time because you've done absolutely nothing.
Yes.
And you're acting like you deserve all this money that you're getting.
I'm not, maybe I don't deserve it, but you're like Daniel Jones and the Giants. You decided to pay me that, so I'm going to be taking.
That's why we're not Browns fans.
Yeah.
So we're not sad right now.
So that's why we're happy. That's why we're happy. Yeah. The highest contract, most guaranteed ever, completely fucking the quarterback market. The New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns, completely destroying that. And thank you to the state of Ohio and the state of New York for now requiring all quarterbacks to be having giant pay raises because your quarterbacks suck but get paid
so much
money. Some of the most wealthy quarterbacks ever. And now we're looking at some of the not very good quarterbacks ever.
Yeah.
But
no. But like even the Browns, they had no Nick Chubb. They had no Deshaun.
Yeah.
They made playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Depth. That's crazy.
With no Deshaun contract, I can't even imagine what this team is putting together as a lineup. Because you could add with Myles Garrett. You could bring in a backup to solidify the backup of Chubb, or they're probably going to resign Jerome Ford because he did pretty well for them coming in. But you could be getting another guy to add with Amari Cooper. You could. There's so much. You could be O-line help so that Joe Flacco doesn't get lit up every play.
Yeah.
It's just you could do everything, but you can do nothing because you're bad. That's our last statement on that.
Yeah. We'll move on.
You're bad.
Because
it's not good.
We got a lot of positions to get to. And looking at the RB market, the running back market, it is looking quite stacked.
It's looking stacked.
Now, I don't know like the money for these guys exactly, but the players that we're seeing that are available, that is some big names. Saquon Barkley, he is available. Probably won't be returning to the Giants from reports that I've seen at least.
You said you've seen some
Chargers.
Some Chargers reports.
Because Jim Harbaugh was new head coach, does have some interest apparently in him. He also said that he has interest in Austin Eckler, but also I think that I don't know, if you're picking between the two, I think you're taking Saquon.
If you can get Saquon, you're probably getting Saquon.
Right.
I would think so.
And Eckler, I think, wants to get a new scenery anyways. I don't know what team exactly for Eckler, because he also was a free agent, but I don't know if he's gonna have an opportunity to be an RB1 really a whole lot of places. Maybe New York.
maybe they just do a little swap.
Yeah, maybe do a little swap. But with that being said, I don't know. That's gonna be very interesting. We have big names like Derrick Henry. That could get very fun. Going to like a Ravens team.
Oh my God. Going
to like a Miami. Going to some like nasty teams. That could get very, very interesting.
Could you imagine in Miami, you're trying to guard Derrick Henry one play, then you're trying to guard Devon A.J. in the next, then you're trying to guard Raheem Most. Are you kidding me?
Along with the wide receivers.
Oh my God. And they draft Xavier Worthy. Now who do you guard?
Yeah.
Who are you guarding?
That would be nasty.
You can't just specify one guy. You're charged. Your defense is charged. Whatever defense you put up there.
I wonder...
You're not having fun against Miami if they get Derrick Henry.
I wonder if the Vikings are gonna have any interest in RB, especially with Madison.
Oh, that's true.
Because I think they cut Madison, so because Madison's a free agent.
Because there's Derrick Henry, there's Saquon, there's Josh Jacobs.
There's even smaller guys like Swift. There's Gus Edwards, Devin Singletary, and that's really the bigger names.
There's J.K. Dobbins. He's an injury-riddled guy, but if he plays, he's actually pretty good.
Right.
We'll see if he can continue to stay healthy.
Right.
And see if he can maintain that.
And Tony Pollard, I expect him to return to the Cowboys, but I think I did see a report, but of course these reports are also rumors. I'm not trying to say that this is actually fact. That Tony Pollard wants to return to the Cowboys and maybe would take a a little bit less compared to return, compared to going somewhere else for possibly slightly more. So maybe we could see a.
He wants to run it back.
Yeah, he wants to run it back, seeing that this team maybe has some potential. Especially, I mean, they didn't have Trevon Diggs for the entire season, which is, I mean, that's a top cornerback.
That is.
Turnover machine. So with that being said, he might see some potential in that Cowboys team.
All right, who do you think is the best, most impactful guy out of those running backs that are available? If you had cap room for it and you could just go for a guy, and get him.
I'm looking at the names right now. I would probably put that on Derrick Henry. With his age, I probably would lower him out of that just because of injuries, and his age is maybe not looking like the guy that was completely destroying and running through holes like last couple of years. I probably would put that on. It's between Barkley and Jacobs. And Swift is, I mean, I want to give Swift his nod, but I think I would probably...
I would give Pollard his nod, too.
Right. But if I had to go, honestly, the durability, the former rushing champ, and a guy that I think with proper scheming and everything like that can definitely get going. And had a resurgence last year, Josh Jacobs, I think I would probably go with over, just because of... He's a nasty runner.
That'd probably be my choice too. I love Saquon.
Yeah,
Saquon gets injured a little bit too much though, a little too often.
Right.
And for his age, it's like,
right.
Like stop getting injured while you're gone. Like don't do that.
And Jacobs maybe didn't have the best year, but I mean his durability isn't as questionable.
And he's just as dynamic as Saquon too, receiving wise and doing everything on the field. So
right. Especially with how this offense Swift changed Jimmy Garoppolo. He had a lot more checkdowns that were going to him, a lot more just like he was a different role compared to when they had Derek Carr.
Yep.
So it was a big change, but like we said, I think the consensus would be for at least us to have Josh Jacobs over him.
Yeah.
So I like that question though. That's fine. Yeah. I guess looking down to the wide receivers that are available, a lot of people maybe would rather have these guys, some guys like this replaced. Josh Reynolds, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones if you wanted to go crazy. But with that being said, Calvin Ridley is set to hit free agency, a guy that Jacksonville I think does want to retain. Marquise Brown is a guy setting to hit free agency. And
he could definitely go somewhere different.
Yeah.
That's a guy that can go somewhere different.
If he's looking to really try to get to a winner a little bit quicker, because Arizona's kind of in a...
What the heck's going on?
Yeah, a little bit
what are we actually going to do next season?
Right. Situation where... But if he wants to be a true one, that's probably his best opportunity too, though.
Probably is.
Depending on the...
Is he a true one, though?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, he's a younger wideout and had a year without a ton of Kyler Murray.
Yep.
So it's kind of a thing that's difficult to say, but he doesn't have the do it all like a lot of wide receivers. He's definitely a slot under guy, maybe across the middle, but he's definitely not a guy that you want to throw the ball up high to in a physical sense.
No, not really. He's not like the one-on-one come down with the ball type of guy, that's for sure.
Right.
It's more of he's getting open on this route.
Right. And now looking at Gabe Davis, because we saw a lot of movement by the Bills. I mean,
a lot of movement.
We're talking about Poyer being sent. We're talking about Tre'Davious White getting released, a guy that now is going to garner probably some serious interest as well. When we cover cornerback.
Oh, yeah.
But now...
Dude, if we can snag up one of those top cornerbacks, even on like a 1 year, get one to come here.
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
Right. I would love that.
Oh my gosh! And it's just giving us more options and more people to talk to and figure stuff out like that out. So.
Right. And cool. This Gabe Davis thing, I don't know if that's where that cap is going. Of course, they started today, minus 40 in the hole. That's why they started doing a lot of these moves. but are you gonna have the cap, or like how are you gonna structure this contract to get Gabe Davis to return?
Right, because I think he's a good 2.
Right.
I do think he's a good 2. He's got good size, got good speed, good route running, all the stuff that you want from a guy in a 2 position to be able to do.
Right.
That's for sure.
And a guy that has been there for a while, knows the system. Him and Josh Allen, of course, does have a connection, of course.
Yeah, they get some crazy deep ones off sometimes.
Right. Some big-time plays. He's definitely that guy that can bust off for some big plays, and it's, I don't know. I think, of course, you want to retain him. It's the question of if you can.
And what is, it doesn't make sense.
What does it cost? Who has to leave to have you keep Gabe Davis?
Yeah.
And is signing Gabe Davis to get, like, would that put you in another cap hole that in a few years you're going to have to start cutting other people?
Right.
And
their secondary took a massive hit, though.
Yes.
Huge hit from the Bills secondary on that.
I mean,
that's
you're looking at your starting and star cornerback. You're looking at one of your star safeties, and then you're looking at another cornerback and Sierra Neal. Like, you're just looking at some guys that just, you're looking at a DB room that is getting cut
really getting depleted. Yeah.
And now, let's say you do pay Gabe Davis. Where's that extra money going to go?
Right.
Like,
hopefully they have some good picks this year.
I mean, like, you're going to have to hit in the draft.
Maybe they're going for Kool-Aid.
Unless you guys are really, like I don't know. I would have maybe just would have restructured and tried to go in one more year.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, maybe you got to blow it up. I don't know. But something about this.
Maybe that's what their thoughts were like last year or something, though, too. Is like,
right.
Try it again. Because those guys were getting. Poyer's getting old. Tre'Davious getting old. Tre'Davious got injured because he's old.
Right. I'm just wondering if this right now is kind of a play that's going to get them mediocre. You know what I mean? Kind of a 10-win, 9-win.
I think it's helping them get into a better spot with their cap. That's for sure.
Right.
Being able to go into future seasons with possibility of gaining better players, bolstering the roster.
Right.
Keeping good players. Like,
right.
That's probably what they're shooting for.
And I get that. I mean, the only thing I will say is you have prime Stephon Diggs and prime Josh Allen. But, you know what I mean?
I'm not the Bills. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. That's weird.
That's what I'm just saying.
Weird.
You got that right there. Let's go get
They must think some of these guys in this draft are going to be helping them out.
This draft definitely does have their fair share of good DBs.
Yeah.
And I think this draft is going to be something.
They could go for a DB. I could totally see them going for a DB and a safety at any point in the draft. So.
Right. And I think that we're definitely going to cover a lot more. I know the combine just happened, but when we see the pro days, I think that's going to be a lot of a big deal. And then getting close to the draft, covering the free agency right now, just because the draft is 50 days away.
Yeah.
We got some time to cover that for sure, and gets a lot more intel. Because I mean, you have film right now, and you have the combine, but there's more things to come out. There's more things that can change.
Yes.
And so placing down your narratives right now of like, I want this guy for sure, isn't exactly like that's going to change. You have 50 whole days, and you're going to see a lot of different things in 50 days.
Yeah.
But I guess looking at the rest of the wide receiver room, that is a class. I guess you have Tyler Boyd that I've saw is not going to be expected to return to Cincy. So that's going to be a big loss. Don't know where he's going to end up.
I like Tyler Boyd, though. He's pretty good.
He's not a 3, I'll tell you that. He's definitely more of a 2. Yeah. Definitely more. And maybe that's a guy
totally agree.
A value pick over Gabe Davis. You go with it with Buffalo, whatever you do.
What do you think about with the Lions, and if you say you don't go with Josh Reynolds, is Boyd a great guy to pick up there? I think he would be amazing on our team. He'd be really good with us, but
I would like
Josh Reynolds does have the chemistry and the time here with our play style, but I think Tyler Boyd could come in and just
I wonder what he's going to command. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm wondering.
I'm not sure about that.
Because if it's, and like you said, if he's really not, if he's probably a 2, it's probably more than Josh Reynolds. It's probably more than $7 million. It's probably like 10 to 15, somewhere in that range. Right. That he's going to be wanting. So.
And is that something you want to do for this free agency when you could maybe hit someone in the draft compared for a cheaper value?
Yeah.
It's definitely a fun conversation to have.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't know what Brad Holmes sees, what guys he's really confident in, what
their full on plan really is. Right. Because it's not like they're just like oh well, we're gonna decide the day before. They're like, you know,
right.
they've definitely.
Oh yeah, there's a plan.
They've got a plan right set in place, and they're monitoring, they're watching, they're seeing what's going on there.
One thing I did see from a Brad Holmes like thing that he was talking about free agency, he wants free agency to be a thing where he's going into the draft. I'm not looking for fit. I'm looking for best player available. Meaning he looks at free agency as a way to fill holes and build out your roster. And the draft is I'm getting players. I'm getting guys.
Which I love, because the draft, they're getting these guys and looking for people with high talent at that young age.
Right.
You know, and you have them for a couple of years after the draft as well. So you have talent for a couple of years that you can build and work with that's cheap and that you don't have to worry about like that.
Right.
Coming out of the free agency. I think that mindset is crazy good.
Yeah.
That's crazy good mindset.
And that's why I'm very happy to have that man at the helm.
Yeah.
For sure. One guy that is hitting free agency that was a former Lion, played for the Panthers this year, DJ Chark. A guy that honestly, if there was a thing where we don't get Josh Reynolds, he could be a guy that could be a value piece, I guess. A guy that maybe just have some health issues, but a guy who knows the system and a guy that maybe you can bring back.
That would be cool.
And a guy who definitely got along with the locker room.
We definitely we're talking about that last year when we got rid of him. We're like,
yeah,
man, we really wish we could have kept that guy, because he's the same. He's huge and he's fast, and we seen some crazy plays.
Oh yeah,
when we were starting to heat up in that first year where we were starting to really get good with Goff and the Lions and figuring it out and really knowing what we're about.
Right.
He was a part of that. He was.
And I don't see him returning to the Panthers. I think that he probably wants to go to a better situation. Because, of course, I think he left the Lions more so to go see if he can get a payday by a prove-it deal with the Panthers, go have a bigger role, and then things
It's
went
really
sour.
tough coming into a situation like that where the team's kind of rough, you're not really filled out that well, and you have a rookie QB.
Yeah.
And you all got to learn everything together, and he's got to figure it out, and you got to figure it out, and you got to gel. Oh my gosh, without your injury, like,
yeah,
it's so much to get right. Like, yeah, he's definitely got to keep proving it. That's for sure. Keep trying.
And we'll see. Maybe he changes his mindset. Maybe it's a totally different thing, where instead of looking at it as a financial thing, he's, you know what, I want to go to a team. I want to go win. Maybe the money isn't as much of a thing right now. Maybe I can get a payday similar to Tyler Boyd way. If Tyler Boyd maybe gets some success this offseason, gets a bigger payday, maybe he follows suit. But also, he does have a very similar build to a Josh Reynolds and a DPJ, so I don't know. If they bring those two guys back, I probably don't see that DJ.
Right. Totally agree.
But I think we're going to skip over the tight ends just because the tight ends doesn't have like a whole lot of big names.
And we got our tight end, don't worry. Also, who do you think is the best receiver coming out of the free agency?
Right. Best wide receiver, I think, is probably, I would confidently say, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley looked great this year. I mean, he's a guy that is the biggest things are mental things, I think, in him. And just making sure that he keeps his head on right and that he's not doing things off the field. And I think he's learned, and I think that now he's looking at being on the field. He played great. He was a 1 in Jacksonville. And I think that you can put him at a great 2 and then you have a wow type of setup somewhere, or he can go somewhere else and he can be a 1. Maybe, I mean, I haven't heard a lot of rumors.
Panthers need a 1.
Yeah, like I haven't heard a lot of rumors about Calvin Ridley, so I won't say that I know a whole lot. But
there are teams that could use him.
But I don't know why this just popped up in my head. But him and Garrett Wilson in New York, that would be something nasty.
Ooh, that would be very good.
That would be, or maybe he can go to the Giants and be a true 1 there. Maybe whatever.
Giants need a true 1. Panthers need a true 1. He could go to a team like Atlanta and fill in that 1 spot and have Drake at your 2. Like,
he was former Falcon. I mean, maybe that can be a reunion of sorts. I do think that the Jacksonville does want him back, so I think that might be automatically. Not
see
automatically,
how much he gets paid, because
right,
like he's probably not going to get like St. Brown money, but how much lower is it than St. Brown? Like,
right. This projected from Spotrac does have him at 3 years, 66 mil.
Yeah, that's
42 guaranteed.
That's
so
quite a bit.
That's definitely a good payday for him, and I'm just glad he's back. And now he's
it's cool to see him out there.
He's
playing.
Not having the gambling issues like before, and now back. Because remember before it was a mental health thing where you need to step away, and then the gambling thing is like, he's going through it right now. But now back in the field.
Yep.
And now looking forward, very happy for Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
What do you think, by the way? Sorry, I didn't want to overtake that.
For what?
The best wide receiver.
I'll go. Yeah, Calvin Ridley.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to.
I mean, if I wanted to be that guy and make a case for Gabe Davis, I'd probably just sit here and look dumb for a while.
Right.
So.
Right. And I mean, that is a.
It's not that Gabe Davis is anywhere bad. It's just that Calvin is probably definitely better.
Right, and it's Calvin is just he's been a 1. From Atlanta.
When he was a 1-2, it was insane.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, his Atlanta clips
they're nasty.
Very nasty.
But the longtime Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith is hitting the market, and I don't think he's going to be returning to the Cowboys from what I've seen.
I just don't think they're not going to have the money.
Yeah, trying to get guys back, and then Tyron.
Did they give CD a contract already?
I don't think he's up, but I think he is getting.
It'll be like,
yeah, I think he's getting paid currently. You know what I mean? I don't know that figure, but I know that they definitely Dak.
And you have Dak.
You have Pollard. You have definitely
you have
plenty of things. Right, like you have some contracts already laid down, and you have contracts that are coming up.
They have Zach Martin too, don't they?
Yep. That Dak extension's gonna.
That Dak extension?
Yeah, I've been hearing huge figures. Huge.
For Dak?
Just like 60 million type stuff. I hope that's
60
wrong.
million?
I hope that's wrong. I really do.
If they extend Dak and this team never makes it to the bowl with Dak, this will go down as one of the worst. I don't. Because it's not like he's bad in the regular season, but man.
By the way, Micah
Parsons
Parsons is on his 5th-year option, meaning that you are going to have to extend him soon. You know what I mean? Like,
so what? You're gonna end up giving up CD or Micah at some point if you're gonna give Dak $60 million. No, don't be that dumb. Don't be that dumb.
Yeah, it's gonna get.
Don't be that dumb. Oh, I hate when teams are that dumb, bro.
I think moving on to just because there's a lot of guys kind of moving.
There's a lot.
Looking to the guard spots. There's some serious guys that you can consider
really good guard guys
to replace Jonah Jackson. I mean,
really good.
You have a guy from Michigan, Mike Owanwu.
Mike Owenhu.
Fuck. I thought that's how I said.
You're good.
Damn it. Okay, well.
Owenhu. He does have a weird last name.
Yeah, I thought when you say something so confidently too, you're like, I thought that's how he said. Anyways, Patriot interior lineman. He is a free agent. Now he is a more expensive guy compared to some other guys.
Yep.
He's definitely going to be looking for
higher talent for sure.
He's gonna be looking for a long-term deal too. He's definitely not gonna be messing around with 2 1-year deals.
Is he like 28 or so?
I believe I saw he was 25. I believe.
Is he really? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably going for his big. Oh, this is my prime time.
Right.
Give me my money.
Yeah, give me my money, and I think that's where we're gonna look at. Yes, you want to invest in your offensive line, but I don't know.
But he's not the only guy there.
Right. There's definitely other guys. Like, there's plenty of, like, Robert Hunt. I know you said you were quite high on.
I think Robert Hunt is a beast.
With that being said,
I don't think his price tag would be nearly as much. He's gonna want money. But I don't think it's as much as Mike's gonna get.
Right. I agree with that. And I mean, there's plenty of guys. I mean, Jonah Jackson is on this list. But also you have guys like, this Kevin, how do you say his last name?
It's probably like Zeitler.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't want to get back-to-back off one. But with that being said, the Ravens guard, He is a older guy. That's a guy that I actually personally wouldn't mind. A guy, yes, he's 34 years old, but put him in on a 1 year and just kind of a guy that is great.
He's a big man.
Yeah, he's big.
He's
and let's
huge.
just get him on a 1 year. We'll get a guy in the draft, and maybe we can not have to throw him into the fire.
And even with our team, like you said, you want security, but even if you draft a guy and go with a Zeitler, and you can switch downs with these guys, like have them interchangeable in there, just get some experience from the other guy. Have the veteran security lockdown of Zeitler at some points, but
and him being older might have a little bit of an injury concern too. You have that guy that's drafted that could step into, but not putting the guaranteed money like you might have to for Jonah. That's what I think. That's where my head's at. But
it's kind of why I like Robert Hunt, because Robert Hunt's not quite 34.
Right.
He's not 34. I know that he might be just before 30. I think where Robert Hunt's age is at.
Okay.
And he's just been. I think he's solid. I think one of his better things too is his run blocking. With what we do, I mean, shoot, dude, bring him in.
That's a scheme fit for sure.
Yeah,
that would be a big addition. I mean, a lot of things that we are looking at. There's like Chris Jones I saw the rumors. He's going to be returning to the Chiefs.
I'm sure he will.
I don't want
you get 3 rings there. You're not going to be like, well, let me try somewhere. No, you're the best. You're basically the best of your position.
Yeah,
you're going to stay there. You're going to get more rings. Mm-hmm. Do we want the Chiefs to get more rings? No. What is it going to happen? It probably will happen. They'll probably get more rings. They'll probably get at least like 2 to 3 more. I'm not even going to lie.
In the Patrick Mahomes era, that is far from over.
Far from over.
Yeah. And Chris Jones, I mean, he's going to ask for some serious money. Now, I saw the thing of, like, people, like, even analysts were saying that, like, the perfect fit, or, like, the perfect off-season...
the perfect fit, yeah.
The off-season addition for the Lions, Chris Jones.
Is he, though?
That would be very fun in Madden.
I don't think he's the perfect... I don't even agree with that, though. Mm-hmm. I really don't.
Right.
Because McNeil is getting better and better every game.
Right.
And he is the interior for us.
Right.
Like, if you want to get an edge guy, get a Danielle Hunter and put him on the other side of Hutch. Then you have some fun. Because you have McNeil in the middle still. You're doing just fine.
Right.
We have Broderick Martin. We'll see how his development goes. Like, it's not like we don't have guys there. So, I don't think that's a part... Because the money would destroy... No, it's not... No, that's terrible. I think that take is terrible. That's not a good take. Does he fill up a huge gap in the middle of the D-line? Yes, it's Chris Jones. He would fill up anywhere.
Yeah.
And there's DJ Reader. There's other guys here who are amazing at that position. What do you want from a D tackle? I want you big and not let the guy run. Okay, there you go. Huge guys that are here that you could go and pick. That would be the perfect fit for the Lions, I guess.
Right.
I don't think an interior guy is what would be the perfect fit for us. If you give us a nutty edge on the other side, that's what I think is our perfect fit. Along with possibly some outside linebackers that are a little bit more skilled than what we have. Mm-hmm. And then we're just rolling.
Right.
And with corner, because we got to improve at corner, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be happening no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to get into the perfect fit, I don't agree with that.
Right.
I don't.
Right. And yet, like you said, Neil Hunter is a free agent. I mean, of course, I think the Vikings are going to work really hard to bring him back. A great year. He's had 2 back-to-back quite good seasons. I mean, he's always been very good.
He's a very good edge rusher.
With that being said, that would be. I mean, if we're like, again, if we're in the era of, not era, but the mindset of Chris Jones is the perfect fit. Of course, if you add Daniel Hunter, oh my gosh, that edge combo.
I think the edge combo is better than trying to overshadow what Aleem has been putting the work in to do. Mm-hmm. I do.
And that'd probably be the best edge duo in the league.
That would be the best edge duo in the league.
That would be nasty.
Yes, if you put Chris Jones as the best inside duo in the league, you can just keep going back and forth.
Right. And I mean,
Daniil's amazing, and he's gonna get paid, but he probably won't get paid Chris Jones money. But
but there's
for
still
the perfect fit. That's ridiculous to me because they don't think about the future.
Right.
They don't. Okay, so we're gonna pay Chris Jones, and now we can't afford Penei Sewell. Oh, that was a great move. It's like, come on, really?
Right.
Oh, now you can't afford Hutch as well because now he's coming up as well. It's like, dude.
Right.
I just gotta put a little bit of future, because that's what it is. It's you're playing for now, and you got to have a plan for the future.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't think Brad Holmes is gonna put future in jeopardy.
And like we talked about, his thing with free agency is we're filling holes.
Yeah.
We use the draft to go get our talent because that's cheap talent.
Yeah.
For a couple of years, it's like that. I love that.
Right. I mean, there's plenty of guys that are more affordable that could fill the edge spot. I mean, you have Bryce Huff, 10 sacks this year. I mean, I don't know what Chase Young's. I mean, I definitely dogged on him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I wonder what his market is, just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
Just because of, is he going to return to the 49ers? You give a third round pick, you got to think he returns, but also the figure. If he asks for a lot,
they don't have a lot to give.
And
they're running out over there.
And do you want to give a lot to him anyways?
I don't know.
But and then looking at, there's guys like Jadeveon Clowney, a guy who is older but still can play. There's like
great veteran team.
Right. John Uche, I mean Leonard Floyd. There's guys that are here that you don't have to break the bank to get that can still produce for sure.
Yeah,
veterans, young guys that haven't proven a whole lot, stuff like that. With that being said, I mean, the linebackers are crazy. I think we're going to move to cornerbacks, though, just because of the need. Kendall Fuller is the best cornerback available. With L'Jarius Sneed getting tagged, Jalen Johnson from the Bears getting tagged, you're looking at basically now Kendall Fuller will probably also be very happy as he's now the best guy on the board and probably will get the most money as he's now the hot commodity.
Let's go. Might get a couple years for some good money, man.
Maybe he returns. I haven't heard a whole lot.
He was on the Commanders, right?
Yes. I don't know what his exactly interests are. You know what I mean? I don't know what teams exactly have shown interest.
Right.
But he definitely is a guy who's 29 years old, so he's in his prime, and he's probably looking, I'm going to cash out. You know, I'm going to. I'm striking now. Luckily, I'm the top guy at my position, and hopefully, I'm coming home with a big payday.
Big.
So L'Jarius Sneed also said that as a 25-year-old, like when he got asked about if he gets free agency, what he wants, like what does he think about that? He's like, tell every GM to pay me or whatever. Like I want to get paid. So these guys, they know when they're in the spot where this is where they're gonna make their own most money.
Tell every GM to pay me.
Yeah, because it's just like these guys know, and they know that they want to make generational wealth, and if they have the opportunity. They're playing amazing on the field. They're going to take their pay that they deserve.
Yeah.
Looking at this corner, there's still, there's Stephon Gilmore. There's guys like Adoree Jackson.
Yeah, I like Adoree Jackson.
The Colts, Kenny Moore. Like, there is plenty of guys here that you can upgrade. And that's just like some of the bigger names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a lot of room here. A lot of guys. There's even, as we were talking about before, Tre'Davious White is now a available prospect. Xavier Howard, as much as he definitely is battling injuries, he is a guy that is available.
So if we do something crazy and pick up Tre'Davious and Adoree, oh my gosh, and then Moseley's coming back,
and you still have Cam.
There's your four right there.
I think they're probably gonna get one. You know what I mean?
I think they're probably gonna get one.
And then they'll probably attack one in the draft.
Yeah,
but
it's deep cornerback draft for sure. There's definitely guys you could throw a dart at and try to hit.
And I think last year, I'm not gonna lie, there was definitely interest from the Lions. I think in Devin Witherspoon. So I think they definitely do want to address cornerback.
I think they had a little bit of stage fright from the last time they tried to draft cornerback high. You know what I mean?
True. I mean, he also did go before us, to be fair. But yes, right.
Yeah.
I think that.
Well, yes, they had interest in Devon Witherspoon, but they probably could have picked up Christian Gonzalez or something.
Right, too. Right. I see what you're saying.
But they're like, well, we just tried this 2 years ago, and it did not go well.
I feel you. And with that being said, I mean, there's guys in the free safety. If we end up losing CJ, like Quandre Diggs, like you were talking about earlier, Xavier McKinney, there's guys that's
a strong, really good safety.
There's a lot of different ways Brad Holmes can take this. There's a lot of great players all around.
Yes, there is.
And I mean, this is a very fun free agency class. I think is going to be
very fun. It's going to be really cool.
It's going to. I think this league's going to get little shaking.
It is. This is.
And
there's gonna be some different faces and some new places. That's for sure.
I did personally do a little bit of a what would I do just for fun. I did my cornerback that I signed was Stephon Gilmore. I looked up his market value around 11, 12. I'll give him 12 just to make sure that he comes here, something like that. 12, 13. I would not be mad at that 1 year deal. I love that. A guy who's a little older.
Yes.
We drafted cornerback. Now we're looking at some stuff where now we got this guy that
we got mentorship going on.
Yes.
We got veterancy out of Cameron Sutton.
And we have his brother, which also maybe adds some stuff. We have Steven Gilmore on the roster. So that also could be fun, having a Gilly Lock brother duo. That would be cool. Very fun. And maybe that's an interest point for him to possibly want to come.
Maybe it is.
That would be very cool.
Maybe his brother's trying to get him too. Maybe he's like, dude, come on, bro. Just come on.
Right.
Just come over here, bro. It's going to be fun.
Right.
We play inside. It's all good, bro.
Yeah, we got a dome. It's nice.
It's nice.
Well, I guess I think Dallas is a dome too. I think Dallas is in dome too.
Yeah, but they're not like the type of winners that we have, though. You know, they don't need a dome.
Right.
They really don't.
Right.
I mean, it's very nice there in the summer because it is
super hot.
Whew, it is traveling and working in like Texas and Florida in the summer, dude. No, you don't want to be outside. Why are you outside?
Right.
It's dumb.
I remember when we went down to Fort Worth a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Oh.
And that was
summertime.
I mean,
the grass when we went to there, all the grass was brown and dry and crunch. We tried to play basketball outside and we couldn't even dunk on 8-foot rims.
Yeah, it was bad. It was just like the heat just sucked everything from you.
All the life. It was like it had to be like on that blacktop, bro. It had to be at least like 120. It was stupid.
It was like you were stepping on it, even through your shoes. You could feel the heat.
Yeah,
and stuff
it was
like that.
Crazy.
Not something we're used to in Michigan.
No, not like that.
But looking at also, I think one thing that we didn't really see on that list. Shout out to Spelltrack for that, by the way. Was kicker. I think that is a need.
Yeah.
That a guy that we can just get, a guy that we can trust, a guy that
we can kick the 50s from without being like, oh no.
Yeah. Right.
What's gonna happen?
Right. And I don't know if that's the guy in the draft. I don't really think so. You know what I mean? I think I went with Will Lutz from the Broncos.
It would have been last year if he.
Right. I mean, we would have had to spend a 3rd round pick for Jake Moody.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, especially how much he struggled this year. I definitely have confidence in Jake Moody. Don't get that twisted, but
I mean, he struggled, but he didn't do that bad.
Right.
He really did not. He actually had a long stretch where he was doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, another guy that was crazy that kind of feel bummed out about not getting is that Brandon Aubrey guy.
Oh yeah,
picking him up.
Yeah,
and he's literally the best in the league. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
That hurts.
I don't even know if he missed.
I'm not sure.
And if he did, it was not a lot.
It was only
1 to 2 times, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Very accurate, and he has a leg.
Leg too. Accurate leg.
Yeah. I mean, Will Lutz is definitely not on his way, but from 40 to 49, he hits 82% of the time. That's
pretty good. That's pretty good.
Now beyond 50 for his career, he's 58. So I mean, we're not looking at exactly like
deadliest kicker of all time.
I was curious. I did look that up. Do you know who is the? I'll tell you the percentage after, but you know who is the most accurate from 50? You're probably gonna. I know what you think it is.
It's not JT then.
It's not JT.
Most accurate from 50?
Yep.
Can you give me like a team?
It might spoil it from you. That's the only problem.
Yeah, I know.
Here, you take your guess right now, and then if you get it wrong, I'll give you the team.
So I'll just guess Justin Tucker because I can't.
Okay, so it's not Tucker, and it's a Steelers kicker.
Was it Chris Boswell?
Chris Boswell is 91%.
Past 50.
That's 50.
Wow.
That's what I believe I saw. That's what I saw. I looked it up, and I saw that.
That's crazy.
And
that's actually really crazy.
And Tucker's like around 80s, I believe.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure he is.
They're both very good, but it's just crazy to me that Boswell was that accurate from that deep that I saw. I never thought about it like that. But the guys like that, I guess. The guys like that.
Maybe we'll go steal him.
That would be nice. I almost thought about like Matt Prater because he was a former Lion, but he's so old now. It's like I don't think it's gonna work. And he's not the guy. I don't think he's exactly the guy before. There was a Jason Hansen signing. As you can tell, I like going to these signings. I almost thought about going and being like, you could put the cleats back on. we could use you now that we're good and you're here. Let's have a rerun. Yeah. Or I was gonna be like, hey, can you teach me how so then I can go? But
that's right. Go do it. Yeah, just make sure that we win.
Yeah.
Game. Oh jeez.
Not to change the subject, but I honestly want to make a video, like 24-hour challenge, and learning how to make like a 25-yard field goal. I don't know if that's possible.
25-yard?
Yeah, maybe deeper. I don't know how long.
You could do that.
You gotta get the problem.
Less than a day. 25-yard.
I don't know. The problem is the form. It's like you think kicking's like how far you can kick it, right? You gotta get like the height. You gotta get like a lot of things.
You gotta hit
it a certain way.
You gotta hit it like I think you hit it with like this bone of your foot.
Yeah.
Right. But are you learning how to do it with like a guy that knows how to do it? Or are you just like, oh, I'm gonna try it with no guidance? I mean, then it would take you like days probably to figure it out.
Right.
But 25 yards, that's not that bad. I think you could kick a 25-yard easier than you could. I think it's once you start backing up. Backing up. Right. Oh man, I gotta hit this little area.
I want to learn how to do that. That'd be fire. In my life, that'd be fire. Being able to kick field goals, bro.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I want to do that, but
you could have.
That's a video idea I've been thinking about for a while. So that might be something.
Field goals.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like that thing. It'd be like you go into like a party and you're like, what are you good at? I kick 50-yard bombs.
Bombs, bro.
I kick bombs.
What are you talking about?
I just fucking send. No. But yeah, I think we kind of covered some good stuff here. I mean, covered a lot of the Lions stuff. Covered a lot of the free agents that are coming up.
I mean, Russ.
You want to talk about Russ?
Where's Russ going?
Russ, I think the best fit, honestly, and I think we've talked about this a lot, would be the Steelers. Now, I know that Kenny Pickett is...
That's where you think the best fit is for Russ?
For Russ?
Wow.
I think that they I understand they don't have the best O-line. They're probably going to address it this offseason.
They've been trying to address it.
And I mean, looking at the talent...
They have an interior guard, Kevin Dotson. Is he a free agent?
Yes.
Ugh, that sucks for them.
Yeah.
Because that's just losing more of their good linemen.
Yes.
Unless they're going to bring them back, but...
Right.
I know they're probably getting stuck in some cap room spots, too, with TJ and with Minka and with all the other guys.
I just think that if Russ can have a little opportunity to... They can bring this offense to like an average level instead of
they win playoff games with this.
They'll win because this defense is so nasty.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And they made the playoffs with a last second push from Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
This team's defense is so legit. Their offense needs to step it up.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett is 25, 26 years old and has not proven it. And
Najee Harris
needs
to step it up.
You can go all in, right, on him. I personally, if I'm rolling my dice, I'm not rolling on Kenny Pickett. I understand you took him first round. Honestly, I wouldn't have. That's the problem.
Honestly, I wouldn't have.
That's the big problem there.
They probably could have waited and still got him.
I mean, a lot of people thought that draft was going to go a lot different. They thought Malik Willis was going to be the first guy off the board. They thought Malik Willis was going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, if you would have done Malik Willis thinking that, you would have probably been in a worse... I don't know. It would have been cool to see Malik Willis get a chance, but I know he's gotten a couple little stints with the Titans, and he has not really done anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's gotten that full, here, go try it.
Right.
Go run it.
Right.
He's just kind of gone, we need a guy. Here you go. You've been sitting for the last whole year.
It's weird, but Desmond Ridder is probably the best quarterback out of that draft.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I would say Desmond Ridder is probably better than Kenny Pickett. So far. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And he's younger. Because Kenny Pickett is 25.
Howell wasn't in that draft, right?
you know, I think Howell is in that draft. So maybe Howell could make. Well,
it's a fight between. We're deciding whether you'd rather have Sam Howell or Desmond Ridder.
I think I'm picking Ridder because Howell led the league in picks. That's why like 21 picks, 21 touchdowns. Like I don't know if I can live with that.
Yeah,
that's too much to the other team.
How many picks did Ridder have then?
Not 21. That's all I know.
What's it close to 20?
I don't think so.
Well then, I don't think it Desmond Ridder. Yeah,
but also I don't think he was throwing at the level maybe too.
Well.
The amount, you know what I mean?
Kyle Pitts definitely don't have the yards to show it. Neither does Drake London.
Well, also Arthur Smith.
It's also different.
Arthur Smith's philosophy.
So would you rather have Arthur Smith and have an offense that's not good because you're slow and you're actually just literally actually not doing anything? Or would you rather like, oh, here we go, we're just going, and you just send it like Washington? I don't know. I don't know.
There's probably a lot of excitement with that.
There's probably a lot of excitement.
Like, yeah.
You see Taylor going down the field, you're like, yo, he's sending it.
And, like, but the frustration probably is an over.
Oh, you're that big.
Yeah, that probably sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would probably...
Would you rather watch, like, slow and bad or, like, fast and
bad?
Maybe worse. I don't know.
I think the turnovers would be so frustrating that I probably couldn't go with that one. I probably have to slow.
You just like sit there and like fall asleep every game. You just like, oh yeah, he's gonna. Oh, we got 2 yards. Okay.
I would rather be sleeping than yelling. So yeah, because it would just be so 21. Watching 21 picks in 17 games is crazy.
Yeah, that's not great.
That's more than a pick a game, bro.
That's not good.
That's really like bad.
Really bad.
That's really like the levels that are.
Drake May.
I mean, there's
Caleb.
I know, yeah. They having the second pick, Sam Howell will probably not be the starter.
No.
I mean,
Sam Howell will probably not be the starter. Sam Howell will not be the starter.
Right. I mean, I don't.
You just talked about how terrible 21 picks in 17 games is.
Yeah, you probably.
Let's go with the new piece at the top pick.
Yeah.
Let's not do it. Will Levis. Or what? No, there was another team that did something like that. Or was it with Will Levis?
What do you mean?
Where they drafted their quarterback, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna play him." And they're like, "Oh yeah, finally gonna start playing him."
I mean, Will Levis did have that similar thing, but also he was a second round pick. I do remember Fields didn't get he got picked and he wasn't starting. That was really an odd situation.
That's where it becomes kind of weird.
Because he was a top.
Okay, I think I'm kind of confusing it too. I'm thinking of like the Pistons and like Ivy at 5, and then not starting Ivy.
Right. But
I like stuff like that. What do you? So what
when you put a certain amount of draft capital, you need to make sure that you give this player all the opportunities to.
Well, if you're putting in the draft capital, the player should be able to succeed at that position. You know what I mean? That's what you're going through. Is like, okay, you're the 5th guy off the board.
Right.
You should be able to be like good.
Right.
Like really good, pretty quick, and be able to figure it out.
Right.
Like that's where that's where you wanted to be. You wanted more money. You wanted higher prospect grade, whatever. You got to perform.
Right. I agree.
So.
I totally agree. The way Jeff Okudah, how that went, you know what I mean? He should have played better.
Right.
You did.
Right.
You were getting this contract. You were getting all these things. You were this guy in college. You should look like this guy in the NFL. And if you're not, then that's where you get to be thrown in the bust category, and you have to deal with being called a bust. Yeah. Jeff Okudah, by the way, is also a free agent this year, because I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Oh no, Jeff Okudah coming back.
No,
he's way too expensive for how not great he really is.
Well, I'm sure now he was going to get a very cheap deal if he gets on any team.
Jeff, you think Jeff's getting cheap now? Because I know Madden was trying to swindle us with Jeff Okudah. They're like, give me 10.
I don't know. He's getting low fives. Maybe
fives.
Less. I don't even know. I don't know if I'd want him on my team, but also I'm a Lions fan, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably going to wrap this up because we're probably on a long ass bag.
Yeah.
But we're making up for it. We had a half hour last time. I hope you guys enjoyed that last one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one.
Yeah. Lots of just free agent everything going on to cover.
Right. And just some stuff to talk about, We love talking sports. I want to actually talk about this real quick I made a Facebook group. It is the Locked In with Drew and Wes Facebook group. And that group basically is for a lot of discussions, a lot of things like that can be done. And if I'm going to post a lot of my content there, but also things that we might use it with the podcast. Certain things like, hey, what do you think about this? We're going to gauge interest. Yada. Like, we're going to use this for very fun ways with the podcast. So with that being said, I hope you guys want to check that out. I'll put the link down in the description if you want to check that out. If you have Facebook, if you want to join the group, please, more than welcome. There's no requirement. Even if you're not that into sports, you don't know a lot about sports, come on in and you can learn about sports. We're a free community. We will not be allowing negative things just because you don't know a lot.
Right.
And we want to be an open community, talk about sports.
Yeah, if you want to learn.
Right. But with that being said, my stuff is again down in the links description. Want to check out my other content. And let us know down below. What do you guys want for free agency wise? Let us know.
Yeah. If you're Lions fans, if you're other teams like the Bills who just dumped half your roster of good players.
How do you feel? At all fan bases, let us know. What do you guys think about this free agency going into it, and maybe the moves you've already made? Always talking about stuff in the comments, and that's a big reason why I made that group as well. So with that being said, guys. Thank you again for sticking with us. If you're still here, you're a trooper. And with that being said, have a great day. Stay safe and peace.
See ya.